Hey guys, Carmine Bianco here, wagertalk.com. Welcome to another edition of Stoppage Time. You'll have to excuse me. We're having a few tech issues. Kevin will hopefully be back shortly. He's in that futuristic little corner there, but hopefully we'll be able to hear his voices and you guys can let me know if you can. We will be going back to our regular Tuesday. It's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays, our stoppage time, because Wednesday is a full day of videos at Wager Talk. So we can't really squeeze in a Wednesday show, but we will do Tuesdays and Fridays. And that'll actually work out a lot better because EPL and some of these other leagues, in having to finish their season off on time this year or this season, there's going to be a lot of Wednesday and Thursday fixtures, and the fact that there's Wednesday and Thursday fixtures, it'll be great because we'll cover them on Tuesday, and then the Friday shows will cover the weekend of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we'll get as many games as we can to you guys, as well as free picks. Matt Mary, Talisman, welcome to the chat. Some guy called Nick Borrman, welcome to the chat. Let me know if we can hear Kevin in the chat when he starts to talk. We don't really need to see him. This isn't a hit on his looks or anything because I'm not the best looking guy either. But as long as we get that nice Irish voice of his, that's all that really matters. Or is he Scottish? Which one is he?
Irish.
Irish, okay. Anyways, we are going to cover 3 games on today's show. We're going to do a little differently. It's almost going to be like a round table kind of thing. We're going to cover EPL starts on Saturday. I'm excited for it. I've put together a deal for all of these guys, but we're going to cover Fulham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton, which I think is going to be a pretty good game, and Brighton, Chelsea. So that's a Saturday, a Sunday, and a Monday game. We're going to cover all 3 of those on this show. Let's go roundtable here. Nick, how you doing?
I am doing great, man. I'm 1 year smarter today. So I'm doing fantastic. Hoping it's going to be a good day.
Wait, do you have a birthday?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
Oh,
Today.
Happy birthday.
Right
Okay.
happy birthday, mate.
Thanks, man.
Happy birthday.
All right. Let's just give away a month of Nick's picks for free by just punching in happy birthday promo code. No.
I'm in.
How many years is this?
35.
35. Oh my God, you're young. I'm 17 years your elder, my friend.
But you look 17 years my younger.
Yes. God bless you, man. Pavlos, how we doing, man? I'm going to get into everyone's streaks shortly, but I just want to do a quick roundtable. Hello.
Yeah, doing great. Still going to the beach. I'm actually getting ready to go on a very small boating trip. It's not for fun. It's for a business. It's for a job. We have to take this huge a nice sailboat from one place to the other. So tomorrow I'll be leaving for 3 days and I'll do that. And hopefully I'll be able to, keep on doing what we do.
Well,
here.
you better keep on doing what we do because to throw in a streak, you're on a hell of a streak, 14-3 over at Sports Memo. Head over to sportsmemo.com and click on the capper profiles. Find Pavlos. The man is on fire as well, too. All these guys are doing great. Nick Borrman, I think he's 75 or 78% since July the 25th. 78% since July the 25th. Absolutely incredible streak there. Kevin Dolan, we're going to go to him next. We'll be able to hear his voice, but not see that lovely Irish face of his. He's on an 18-8 run, plus 32% bankroll gain. Absolutely fantastic. Kev, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Apologies for the picture. I'd love to tell you, the weather's fine in Ireland. It's still raining. I think that's obviously affected my picture issues too. But look, just as we said before, stick up a picture of Eric Bana. It'll be fine. Just pretend it's him talking or some other Hollywood star, Tom Cruise maybe. But yeah, look, we're on a hot streak right now, as you said, 18-8. So all's good, my end.
That's awesome. That's great to hear, man. Our tech department is currently putting up a picture of Al Bundy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Al Bundy, but he once scored 4 touchdowns in a high school game. So
close enough.
Close enough. All right. Myself, I'm starting to heat up. It's one of those roller coasters, but it's absolutely incredible. I think I've won 9 of my last 10 plays. I've been doing some U.S. Open and currently like 19-6 with U.S. Open picks. I have a couple plays up today at Wager Talk that you can get for $29. It's the women's semifinals. They both go this evening, and let's try and make it 21-6 with these two plays. EPL guys, like who's not excited? It just feels like soccer just ended, or football, which we should really call it, just ended a short little while ago. And other than MLS and some La Liga, we're getting some really good leagues starting up, both this week in EPL and then next week as well too, with 3 of the other leagues I believe starting. So we're going to cut to the chase here. I'm going to go to the first game, and then I'm going to throw it to Nick at first. We've got Arsenal and Fulham. The line in this game is Arsenal is 182. You'll have to excuse me, guys. I'm working from the Prez's studio today because my laptop this morning blew up, essentially. Did not want to work. All my software is on there, so I'm using the Prez's studio. Arsenal 188, Fulham plus 500. The draw is plus 333, and the over-under is 2.5 minus 138. I know it's 2 3/4 in some spots with lower juice. This Arsenal team, I'm going to go at it first. Arteta, since they took over, this Arsenal team is playing a hell of a lot better. They finished off the season very well, won a couple big FA Cup semi-final and final games over Man City 2-0, and then they beat Chelsea in the final 2-1. And they kicked off this season with the Supporters' Shield, beating Liverpool in penalties, so 2-1. I do a forecasting on Wager Talk. You can find it on my page. It's EPL Weekly. I've got them in my top 6, but not in my top 4 currently as far as the starting the season power ratings. I'm going to go to Nick first. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, we talked about since Arsenal since the restart, Arteta finally getting the guys together. They ended the season very well. They won the Community Shield, obviously you mentioned, against Liverpool, which is what it is. They won the FA Cup very impressively. Fulham was up in the Premier League 2 seasons ago and were sent right back down. But in that year, I know it's 2 years ago, but I mean, Arsenal destroyed them. They won 4-1, 5-1. I don't really know how I would ever want to put my money behind Fulham. There's a lot of question marks with them coming up right now. None of us, I don't think, are expecting them to do anything else but fight to stay alive in the league after just the 1 year. So I just hate laying a goal. That's the goal line right now, a full goal on the road for Arsenal. I mean, a 1-goal win is probably likely. They could win by 2 or more, but I think if you're taking a side, it's hard to argue anything but Arsenal. Their defense was really just very, very good that second half of the season or after the restart. And it's just a team that I think, it all depends how they start this year, of how they'll be, if they come out fast and they don't have to answer questions, from like they have the last few years about, how's the manager getting the players ready? What are the players thinking? This is not the same Arsenal team. If they can get off to a quick start, which I think they can, I think they're going to be in for a decent season. And listen, I don't know how you're going to bet Fulham here. I honestly didn't look at the total in this one yet. I was really just looking at the side. And for me, if I'm putting my money on this one, I'm going to take Arsenal. But just in case, to try to cash something on a 1-goal win, you can buy this to 3/4 of a goal for around minus 140. A little higher than you want to lay at minus 3/4 of a goal. But I just hate laying the full goal and end up playing the whole game and possibly pushing. So I'm going to play it as a 3/4 goal spread on Arsenal, but I just don't see Fulham giving them much of a challenge here.
Yeah, and before I throw it to Pavlos and then Kevin, it's one of those things. Last year, you'd probably be very reluctant to lay a full goal with this Arsenal team on the road. They weren't the most reliable. This team has, I think, the thing with Arteta, he's brought in a new culture to this team and the way they play, and they play with more confidence. And you see it when they play big teams. They're playing much better. No one expected them to play this well, but he continues to surprise us. So we'll see what he does. As far as like Fulham, you look at these teams that are in the league now, the 3 new ones. that were promoted last season. Fulham, Leeds. The big change, I think, this year, obviously we're playing in still empty stadiums and they're still looking to get fans in. But if you sort of look through Premier League seasons with newly promoted teams, other than the ones that play an extremely defensive style of play, let's say like Norwich did for most of the season, Sheffield last season, they were the only successful team. Week ones have been very tough. Last year, Norwich went to Liverpool and lost 4-1. Last year in week one, the newly promoted teams went 0-2-1, 2 losses, 1 draw. The only draw being Sheffield, and they had a great season. But as far as Norwich and I think it was Aston Villa, not the greatest, and they were outscored by like an 11-3 margin in those games. I believe was the final number. So I don't know. I don't know about how Fulham is. I'd rather take Arsenal here in this game. Don't want to play the money line, but if the only way to go is that 3/4 or goal line, I think that's the way to go. I think they'll win. I don't think there's any setbacks on this team, and hopefully they can get off to a better start than they did last season. Pavlos.
Yeah, I think I agree with the totals here. Because Fulham, they do have a very strong. I consider the offense, their offense strong. They have Alexander Mitrovic, who is a very talented striker. He also played in the Premier League 2 seasons ago with Fulham. They have some quality players up front. I don't really trust their defense, but I don't trust Arsenal. Arsenal made a couple of additions to their roster. They brought in Gabriel, Pablo Mari, Willian from Chelsea. So until these guys in the defense click together, I'm not so sure how they'll actually perform. For a team that hasn't had many training sessions, I'd say that they're not very. They don't know each other very well yet. I might be wrong, but I see Fulham scoring in this match. So I think I agree with the over 2 3/4 goals. I think that's a pretty solid bet for me.
Before I go to Kevin on this, Arteta's going with, what's worked for him. He's going to go with a 3-4-3. And up front, it's going to be the guys you expect to see up front, in Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe up front. A couple guys won't be in the lineup. I think Luis is. I think he picked up a knock. I think he's injured. But their back line is still pretty solid, or at least finished the season off solid. So they just play very well defensively now, and I think it's because of that midfield. What the thing about Arteta is when he came in, he made decisions. So. And some of the decisions were, I think he used Lacazette in a friendly, or not Lacazette in friendly, but Mesut Ozil. But I don't see Mesut Ozil playing much, if any, this year. If he gets into 5 games this year, they're going to be like these Carabao Cup games or some of these FA Cup early games. He's a guy who doesn't want to be moved and wants to stay, and he's being punished for staying at Arsenal. And then you guys, Guendouzi, he's not going to play on this team anymore. He's going to sit on that bench until they can move him, and they're trying to move him. So Arteta's stamping his style on this team and who he wants in that lineup. And if players don't like it, they're just going to have to move on. It's what he does. It's the same thing that Pep did when he went into Man City. One of the first things he did, and I said to people, Pep is going to get rid of Joe Hart. The first thing he's going to do is get rid of, and people are like, he's not going to get rid of Joe Hart. Joe Hart's the goalie for the national team. He's and he was gone when he came in. So, Kev, if you can hear us, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to what Nick said in terms of it's hard not to be, it's hard not to be impressed by with what Arteta has done since coming into, taking over Arsenal. He's won the FA Cup, he's won the Community Shield. And I particularly like what he's done with the youth players in this squad. Martinelli's got a start. And there's rumours that Eddie Nketiah is going to get the start over Lacazette on Saturday. So that'll be interesting if he does. You just can't trust Arsenal. 4 wins from 19 last season on the road. That's not going to get it done. I need to see as good a job as Arteta has done. I need to see more, especially when they play on the road. And I'm not sold on their midfield pairing of Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. I think it's one of the worst midfield pairings in the top 10 in the EPL. I really do. I think they suffer because of that. Yes, they can score goals. I think their defence is competent, but in the midfield, I think it's very weak. But again, you can't. I'm not going to put my money on Fulham because, as Nick said, in the head-to-heads, Arsenal have absolutely ravaged them. 9-2 aggregate scoreline over their last 2. The big thing for me is, look, Arsenal have proved it in cup games, but this is the league. It's a different story. You've got to be consistent. And Arsenal have won each of their last 5 as underdogs. Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, they've rose to the occasion, they've won those games. But they've lost 3 of the 4 where they were installed as pre-match favourites. I don't know for certain, but I would be 99% sure that everybody on this panel has got burned by Arsenal at one point or another when they're supposed to win. They just don't. So maybe if you can buy it down to 3/4 of a goal, I definitely see them winning this game by 1. But I'm not laying a full goal here because I can't trust them to win by 2.
Yep.
He's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. I'm Carmine Bianco. Nick Borrman here, also of WagerTalk.com, and Pavlos Laguretos from Sports Memo. Guys, I've got a deal up there. You'll see it. It's a coupon code, Soccer90. If you buy a 3-month soccer package, so 90-day soccer package, which is regularly priced at $4.99, use the coupon code Soccer90 and you'll get $150 off that. I'm going to throw it one step further to anyone who buys this deal. If you buy any one of the 4 cappers with this deal, email your proof of purchase to promotions@wagertalk.com and I will give you guys, I'll have them credit your account with an additional 100 wager bucks that you can use on their other plays. You've got Nick who does soccer, obviously, tennis, golf, where he's absolutely killing it in golf. Pavlos, the brand new season of European basketball is about to kick off, which is great. And then you got Kevin, who Kevin does football, both college and NFL, some baseball, some basketball, boxing. The man with his boxing and his UFC does extremely well. $100 you can use towards those packages for those guys. So that's an extra 100 wager bucks if you pick up this limited time Soccer90 coupon and use it for the 90-day soccer package. So head over to wagertalk.com or Sports Memo and you can get that deal. All right, we're going to move on to the Spurs. This is an interesting one. Spurs are minus 120. The draw is plus 260 and Everton is plus 333. Carlo Ancelotti, obviously, I expected him when he came in towards the end of the season to take over Everton, who were struggling. I knew that during the offseason, he would his influence would get some players over here, and he's doing it. James is over now, who we had at Bayern Munich and at Real Madrid. Decore, that picked up from Watford, midfielder. He's bringing players in. Now, I doubt anybody will be in that lineup for this fixture on Sunday, but you've got Tottenham with Harry Kane healthy again. Got some time in during England's game, that first game that they played. I think it was against Iceland, where the other boys were off playing in the part of the hotel. And you've got Dele Alli, Lucas Moura, Son. They're all back and healthy. Might be a much better start. And then you got Jose Mourinho, classic Mourinho. He brought in a couple guys that will help the team. They're not stars, but what they are guys who fill holes that they had on this team and to try and make them a little better. I'm gonna go to Kev first on this, and for your thoughts on this Tottenham Everton game.
Well, I'll likely have a play on the side. I'm just finalising that now, but I'm happy to talk about the total because, I've been very impressed with, the signings that you just mentioned there. Everton signing Doucouré and Alan to bolster that midfield because, look, Everton had the third worst goals allowed record on the road last season at 35. That's 1.84 goals per game average on the road. That really hampered them last season, so that's definitely going to shore them up in the midfield area. And then we've seen on the Tottenham side, Matt Doherty coming over from Wolves, Højbjerg there as well. So he's strengthening the defence. So no surprises where I'd be leaning to in terms of the total in this one. Kind of like the under 2.5. And, in terms of the XG numbers, Tottenham are quite funny on the XG. Their last 3 games of the season, 0.31 against Crystal Palace, 0.77 against Leicester. Now, they did get 1.75 against Newcastle, but as we said last week, Newcastle were an absolute dumpster fire on XG numbers. So to put that 1.75 in some perspective, they gave up 3.13 expected goals against Watford the week prior. So putting up 1.75, not particularly impressive. So, Tottenham don't create many chances. They look to get 1-0, probably up a set piece or something, maybe Son down the wing. They'll get up. They'll shut up shop and look to close out the game. Typical, Jose Mourinho. So I also think it's going to take, if these players do start, let's say they come on as subs like James Rodriguez and that, it's still going to take them time to gel. So I can't see 3 goals in this game. 1-1 a possibility or 1-0, whichever way it turns out. I definitely lean to the under.
Yeah, and 1-1, if you're playing exact odds, 1-1 is the lowest price. At plus 650. After that, it is Tottenham 1-0 at plus 700 and 2-0 at plus 850. So those are the 3 lowest exact scores in this game. And that total is right now lined at 2.5 minus 110 both ways, over and under. So I'll go to Pavlos next on this game.
Pavlos has a toothache, so he won't say a lot of words because now it's flaring up actually, and it's really bugging my jaw here.
With that salt water. Come on, man.
Yeah, I have to go cleanse tomorrow. Yes. Everton did some nice additions, as you said. They brought Alan, James Rodriguez. They have a very solid midfield, let's say, but they have a lot of talent up front, but they traditionally have a trouble in scoring. Since Lukaku left the side, they haven't been able to find a decent scorer. They've tried Tosun, they tried Keane, they tried Dominic Lewin, they tried Richarlison. There's so many players that came and went, some stayed. They still have a problem in scoring. I don't know how they'll be this season. Hopefully better with the addition of James Rodriguez, who is a top class player, but he's been not very good in recent seasons. That's why no team wants him. He has some injury concerns. Anyway, Carlo Ancelotti is a very good coach, and I think that this is a battle between 2 very good coaches, Mourinho and Ancelotti, very defensive-minded coaches. So I'm backing up Kevin with the under 2.5 goals here, and maybe Everton could take the draw, but I think the under is pretty solid here.
Okay, yeah, and it's the thing is sometimes a manager can get a player who played for him at one time to bring him back to what he was before, because he knows where to use him, knows how to use him. And I think that maybe that's what Ancelotti's backing on, or else I don't think he would have brought him in if he didn't think he could help this team. But they definitely have better parts to that team. The one guy I missed on that Kevin mentioned was Alan from Napoli as well too. So that's going to help. And obviously one of his former players, Ancelotti, was the coach for Napoli and got them into the Champions League, and then had a falling out with the president and left. So he left, and then they Napoli brought in whatever his name is, the Italian midfielder that drives me absolutely nuts. Gattuso. Gennaro Gattuso. Nick, your thoughts on this game?
In agreement with the guys. Both teams struggled to score. Tottenham, if you look at last year's numbers and records, it's kind of not fair to really judge Tottenham off of all that. Obviously, they were banged up all season. Kane, Son, Mourinho came in halfway through. So it'll be interesting to see how they come off this year. I mean, he's got time now to get these guys going. They did come back and win games when they needed to at the end of last year to sneak their way into a Europa spot. And they made some good signings this year, as you already mentioned, with Doherty, Højbjerg, Lo Celso from Betis. So I think they've improved where they needed to. They still have a lethal attack up front if they stay healthy. And the thing with Everton is they can't score, as Pablo said. So I think Tottenham should be the side to win this game. I'm not comfortable necessarily laying it here in the first game. I like the under. In the last 15 head-to-heads, Everton has not won. So keep that in your mind. So that way, that's where my Spurs side is coming in. But I like the under here. I think both teams will be good on defense. Everton's usually still solid on defense. Tottenham, I think, got better on defense. And I think the under is a good play. So let that be weary to all the listeners, because we're all in agreement. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, if Lawrence was here, he'd say the consensus is that you go against what these guys are saying. So, but the Prez is not here. He's somewhere else in this massive mansion that he lives in. So we'll just stick with that. You guys like the under, so that's good. The third game. This is the Monday game. And this, I'm going to throw a trend out as we talk about this one, but this is Chelsea and Brighton. Chelsea's at Brighton. The line is 163 on Chelsea away. Brighton is plus 400 at home. The draw is plus 333. And the total in this game, as I'm looking at it, is 2.5 minus 138, or a 3/4 line, 2 3/4 line of 2.75 with the over at plus 102 and the under at minus 118, it looks like. This is an interesting one. This is actually was in my EPL Weekly that you can, as I mentioned, you can download on the site on my Capper page. I'll have one up every week. But I looked at some of the Chelsea stats, and these are trends. And you take trends for what they're worth, and you sort of use them along with your play sometimes to make a decision, but never base your play on a trend because it's the dumbest thing to do. I'm going to go to Nick first on this one, but some of these trends. Chelsea, 10 of Chelsea's final 12 games went over 2.5 goals. Chelsea's final 7 away games went over 2.5 goals. And Chelsea scored 2+ goals in 10 of their final 12 league matches. So that tells you that they can score. At least it seems. They're a different team under Lampard. They have brought in Kai Havertz. They've brought in Timo Werner. And while I say all of this, Nick, I'm going to say that they spent all this money, and I don't mean to offend any of you Blues fans. They spent all this money to finish no higher than third in the league because those spots are reserved for Man City and Liverpool unless either one of them absolutely shits the bed. Nick, your thoughts on this game?
Is it just me, or is this line just like tempting you and baiting you to take Chelsea, right? I mean,
and the over, it seems.
Yeah, we all know the signings they made. They made all the sexy names. They brought them all over. They're expecting to score 6,000 goals this year with all these big name offensive players. But we all know that takes a little while to happen. I think it's just hard. I mean, I want to believe Chelsea's going to go in there and win. I look at the end of last year's results. Brighton, they had, at the end of the season, they lost 0-5 at home to City, 1-3 at home to Liverpool, 0-3 to United. So they lost all the big teams coming in. Could Chelsea go in and do the exact same thing to them? On paper, yeah. But first game, new team, a lot of pressure on them. I don't know. I'm scared. I want to I'm looking at it. If this is middle of the season and this is the line I'm looking at and things are going as we would expect them to go, Brighton, down towards the bottom of the table, Chelsea top 3, as you say, Carm, or, near the top 4 rather, and playing as they should be on paper, we're probably all going to be looking at Chelsea. But I don't know. Something about this is just in my gut saying, be careful here. I don't know why, other than just that. So doesn't mean I won't. I feel like I have to put something on Chelsea, but at the same time, scared money doesn't win money all the time. So I might be laying off this one, but I feel like everything says Chelsea. Hopefully you guys can talk me one way or the other, because I'm just so indecisive. It's better not to do something and force something, but it's kind of my thoughts here.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic take, and it gives people who might be thinking something absolutely similar the reassurance that they're not the only ones feeling like that, because I thought, in looking at the line, this doesn't seem right. It should be a little higher. Like, I thought the total could be 3. I understand that it's 2 3/4 because of Brighton and not because of Chelsea. And right. That, teams like Brighton will be like, we need to pick up points at home first and foremost. So let's defend. And they defend for as long as they can. And then, Chelsea get a couple goals in the second half and it's 2-0 final. And people who bet Chelsea are happy. People who took the total aren't. When it seems too obvious, it's one of those things. Sometimes it works out, but there's a lot of times where it doesn't. And you can't get overly excited about games and think you're not fooling the sports book. The books know what they're doing with these lines, right? And if you think you're going to fool them, what happens is about week 3 or week 4 of the EPL season, you're looking at your laptop and thinking, how much can I get for this at the pawn shop? Because I need to bet week 5, right? So I'm going to go to Kevin next on this one. Kev, any thoughts on this Chelsea-Brighton game?
I just had to laugh when Nick started off, because literally in my notes I have potential trap game like in brackets right beside it, because it just, as Nick said, it just looks too easy. It's like almost you're going to give me 50% return on a guaranteed Chelsea win, which made me kind of step back. But look, there are reasons for it for sure, because Chelsea were the worst goals against road record in the EPL last season, 38. They were giving up 2 goals per game on the road. This team is horrendous defensively. And you literally had to go back 24 years to the 1996-1997 season to find a period where they gave up more goals than they did last year, 54 goals. The only positive for Chelsea was they were actually better on the expected goals against number, plus 9.61. So they were perhaps a little bit unlucky. But we know Chelsea's style. Second most shots on goal last season, 16.4, with Werner and Havertz. That's obviously, if it's not going to increase, the conversion rate's going to increase because of the quality that they have up front. No disrespect to Tammy Abraham, but these two guys are well above his standard. We've seen these two teams play 2 weeks ago. It was a 1-1 friendly. What can we take from that? Absolutely nothing. But going back to January, it also finished 1-1. We had that beautiful bicycle kick. I believe it was around the 80th minute for Brighton. So, as easy as the over is, that's the side that I would prefer to be on than the straight Chelsea win, because, as you said at the start, Carmine said at the start, 8 of Chelsea's last road games, all had 3 goals or more. 4 of Brighton's last 5 at home had 3 goals or more. So I would lean to the over 2.75, but I'd have to stay away from the side. It's too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah, it really is, and it's one of those ones where you think, I've only got to lay $1.60. Look at all the signings that this team made, and that should tell you something. So I'm not saying the bookmakers got it wrong. I'm just saying for week 1 of the EPL season against a team that gets a lot of their points at home and is going to be looking to defend first, and then some of these teams that defend first will sometimes. They get that goal, which is completely against the play, or off a set piece, and you're stuck with a team that sure, it's minus 163, minus 170. It's going to go up a bit by game time. You're stuck chasing in a game, so I'm not entirely convinced on Chelsea just yet, but that may change over the next couple days. We'll see. Welcome to a couple guys. Smiley won. Chelsea's going to win, no doubt. With that team and all that money they spent, you would think. Richard Casey, fade Leicester City. I had a very tough time. No disrespect to Chelsea, but on that my power rankings for the first week, I had a tough time getting Leicester City into the top 10 off of what happened to them at the end of last year and some of the changes to the team this year. Not a lot of positive changes. I'm just not convinced that this team can compete week in and week out. So I'm not sure there. James McGuinness, welcome as well too. So Pavlos, what thoughts do you have on this game?
I'm actually thinking about a play that I want to release on that game, but I'm just gonna say that, as you said, Carmine, the books, they know what they're doing. They've seen something in this game. That's why it's not a mistake by the books. It's more like a precaution for some sorts of some sort. Anyway, I don't think that we'll see a lot of goals here because Brighton will play. They usually play with five men at the back. They really try to keep the opponents away. I don't know how they'll do this season. Maybe they'll keep the same formation. Maybe they'll change it. I think it's gonna be a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2 that changes. They did get Lallana from Liverpool and Veltman from Ajax for the right back. So I think they're a bit better than last season, even though they trimmed a lot of fat from the from their roster. But yeah, they might be able to hold out. We might not see a lot of goals in this match, I think.
Okay, guys, that's Pavlos Laguretos sports memo. He is on a 14-3 run. Literally, the man is on fire, which is why tomorrow he's heading over to cleanse himself in the ocean, and hopefully he makes it back okay. Because if you end up on an island like Tom Hanks did in Castaway, we're not sending anyone to look for you. We're just gonna plug somebody else in there. We won't put their picture up, kind of like Kevin's, and we'll just say it's Pavlos on the other end. So
I'll be sending pics inside bottles, so then you'll find it like 10 years later and say, "Oh, this guy said that
like the under.
Chelsea's gonna win."
Yeah, guys, that coupon that's on there, Soccer 90, $150 off a 90-day soccer package. The regular price is $4.99. You'll get it for $3.49 for 90 days. That's a fantastic deal. That's essentially it's about, what is it, $5 a day? It's less, $4 a day, something like that. $4 a day. You can't really go wrong there. And if you buy the package from any one of us four guys, send your proof of purchase to promotions@wagertalk.com. And I'll get them to credit you another 100 wager bucks into your account that you can use for that Capper's other sports. Pavlos has European basketball starting soon. Kevin has football, college football, NFL. He's got boxing, UFC. Nick has tennis. Nick has golf, where he's absolutely on fire. Nick, I need another one of those 30 or 40 to 1 winners at the end of the first round that you've been peeling off each and every week, if you can.
One of my guys is tied for the first round lead right now, so it's way early though, but I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at my email, and I don't see the email with those picks being sent to me, but it's what it is. Jesse asks, I think Jesse Sands asked about the Golden Boot top scorer in the EPL. When I look at some of the ones that are there, obviously you're going to have Mo Salah is going to be favored, and I think he's at 5-1 odds. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang plus 550. That one I can expect because he did score a lot for this team last season, and maybe a full season under Arteta. It's the same thing. He's their main scoring guy on that team. He's going to get goals. I just think that team is now one of these Arsenal teams that no longer has to win games 4-2 because their defense is that bad. I think the way he set up this team, they're going to win a lot of these 2-0, 2-1 type games, and it's not always him scoring both. I actually like, as far as Golden Boot, I like Harry Kane. Proven scorer. He's got to stay healthy because that ankle problem that he has. But he's looked healthy so far. He's plus 550. I understand the Timo Werner thing. We have to see. We're going to see in the first 3-4 weeks what Werner can do. We know what he can do in Bundesliga. It's just a matter of can he replicate what he did for Red Bull's Leipzig. Can he replicate that with Chelsea? Is there anything that stands out to you guys? Kev, I'll go to you first.
I'd be looking a bit further down. I'd be looking like players like Danny Ings. I don't know what odds he is, but these type of players. Yeah, well, I think that's a decent bet because I'll be looking at. I think Aubameyang's actually a pretty good bet too, although he's a bit too short for my liking. Just because you're looking at teams that rely on one guy in particular, like Harry Kane, like Aubameyang, because you don't want to split your bet between Werner and Havertz because they're likely going to have 60-40 or 50-50 share of the spoils. So that kind of thing. I would look at the 20-1 and Danny Ings.
Yeah, and the other thing is when I look at some of these is the one thing with Chelsea, which we'll see what Lampard does before I throw it to Nick and Pavlos, is once we get into the heavy part of the campaign where these teams are playing domestic cups, but also Champions League, is when Chelsea has one of their 6 group stage games on that weekend, is Lampard going to start Timo Werner? Is he going to start Kai Havertz? Or is he going to rest these guys or only have them in there for half the game? So you've got to look at minutes for the player as well too, and whether they get any. Teams like Tottenham, Arsenal, they'll be playing in the Europa League. Teams don't take that Europa League, or managers don't take that Europa League as seriously as they would Champions League. There's a lot more money involved in Champions League for even earning a point during the group stages. It comes with millions of dollars as do wins. So I've seen it with Klopp and what he's done with Liverpool, and he's rested part of that trident that they have up front with Salah and Firmino and Mane. So it's one of those things you have to look at when you're playing these golden boots. I think is your guy going to play every single game during the season? Nick, thoughts?
I like Kane. I mentioned that in the chat when somebody was asking about it. So I think Kane, again, he is the guy to score, and he's the guy to take the penalties at Tottenham. So I think he's going to get a lot of chances. And then maybe if I was going to search a little lower, maybe Fernandes, United. I mean, he was taking their penalties last year, 16-1, perhaps worth a shot there. But I think it's going to be Kane, or maybe Salah could have a resurgent year this year as well. But that's where I'm looking.
Pavlos, any thoughts on a score in the EPL before we go to our final wrap-up?
Well, I did draft Timo Werner in my team. I took him as a first pick. So, which goes to show that I truly believe in Timo this season. And Chelsea, because he's going to have 3 players just shooting balls at him.
Yeah.
Yes, Havertz and Pulisic and whoever comes on. I think, Timo Werner is nice.
All right, we are going to wrap this up in a minute. We're gonna go through, and I want to know what you guys have loaded up at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. But before we go, guys, hit that like button. We only got like 11 likes. Even with 40 people watching it, we should have like 50 likes. You should hit it twice. So maybe you hit it twice, and that's why it unliked it. So hit the like button. I wasn't gonna do a Suarez award this show. We talked about it offline. We'll probably do it once the season starts. But suddenly a Suarez award winner has come to me. And it is the technical producer for Kevin's Skype. We've been looking at a Futurama kind of image on the screen there. And every once in a while, Pavlos' head pops up on that Futurama screen. So whoever the technical director is for in Ireland for Kevin Dolan, he is our Suarez Award winner this week. Sorry about that, Kev.
Paddy, you're fired. You're fired. I just told him, Carm. Don't worry about it.
And now with that said, Kev, what do you have loaded up at Wager Talk for your clients?
We got the Thursday night football play right up now between Kansas City and Houston, so that's live. And then we're just finishing off our EPL card because obviously yourself, it's just sports now with college, NFL, and soccer back. So it's been a really busy week. But yeah, we should get them up tonight. But right now, yeah, Thursday night football's up there.
And that's why, guys, and that's why, honestly, this deal that I put up there is a very good one, because all the leagues are going to be in play by next weekend, number one. So you're going to have Spain and Italy, the Bundesliga. League One is already in play, and they'll be in play this weekend. So all the leagues are going. So you're going to get a ton of soccer, weekday soccer picks, weekend soccer picks. And then the other thing is, I'm going to get you 100 wager bucks credited to your account. And if, for a guy like Kevin, you could pick up 4 of his Thursday night games, or you pick up this Thursday night's games. You pick up his weekend card for football. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do with those wager bucks. And the same goes for Pavlos and Nick. It's a really great deal. This is a limited time offer. I'm keeping that coupon code valid until our next Stoppage Time show. So pick that up. Also, before I go to Nick, we're supposed to do our in-game betting this weekend, but the fact that if I can get a new laptop picked up today and the software installed, it's more about the software. I have plenty of laptops. It's the OBS software that we use in order to broadcast this stuff live. If I can get that all set up in the next day, we will be doing Stoppage Time live Saturday morning EPL game for you guys to watch. Nick, what do you got up at Wager Talk?
Right now, I just have one play up for La Liga action on Friday, the opening game. So that's the only thing I have up now. I will have a full slate for Premier League, La Liga, League One for the weekend, and MLS. But that's the only play that's up right now. And I just want to throw out one future bet I made in La Liga, since we didn't talk about that. Alaves plus 200 relegated. Take it.
Stepping on. Well, what I want to know is over under of 30 goals. Does Alaves score more than 30 goals this season?
Their defense was really bad. I think they could score a couple. Like they could have a 4-0 game and something, get lucky somewhere. I think they could get more than 30.
Over under on the amount of women that Pavlos gets on his next cruise. Over or under 8.5?
Oh, that's way under. Judging last time, that's
Pavlos, what do you have up
It's
at
only
Sports
3 days.
Memo?
I do have an MLS best bet for Saturday. But I'm going to load up a few more plays from the MLS and the Premier League. And also actually, I'm going to load up a lot of stuff during the weekend. I have a lot of ideas, but I'm just getting the latest, info because, for example, PSG are playing today and they had like 7 players with coronavirus.
Yeah.
So you have to stay on top of the, of Twitter and the other stuff that you're looking for, because sometimes, for example, the odds on that match for PSG to win went like this with the news. They were like really low. I don't remember how much. Then they went up. They were shot up high as soon as Neymar, Mbappe, Icardi, and all the other players were diagnosed with COVID. Then the odds changed, but then they changed again. So we live in very strange times. So I personally like to wait a bit for the odds to settle and for the latest injury news to be available to me before I make my decision. That's why I have such a good run the last few days, because I do that effectively now.
We definitely are living in weird times. 2020 has not gone the way any of us thought it would. It's crappy. We just got to stay safe. It's a public service announcement now. Stay safe. Wear your masks. We'll get through this. The 2021 is around the corner. I'm still trying to make sure that we get all of you guys to Vegas to do our live Euros 2021, not 2020, because obviously they postponed it, 2021, where I will be giving away a Cristiano Ronaldo autographed jersey framed to someone. That thing is worth over $1,000. It's about $1,500-$1,600 with the framing. I'm sure that whoever wins it better not put it on eBay. If I see it there, I won't be happy. Up at Wager Talk right now, I have a 5% NFL play for Sunday. Thursday play tonight in NHL. Winner last night, easy under 5.5. EPL opening weekend 2-pack and a college double play. You can get those all at Wager Talk right now. Soccer 90 is that promo, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.